This has taken me into a kind of a radicalism that I think is true, which is I think science is just totally fake. Science is totally fake.
You gave that talk.
I did give that talk, actually, in Steubenville. Yeah,
excellent talk.
And thank you. There was a quote, I read it on a blog.
Says he, puffing his cigar.
Yeah.
Science is fake.
By the way, there was an Italian study during COVID that nicotine actually helps certain people.
Yes,
but anyway,
I read that
whatever
one
we
too.
can
Yeah,
get.
that was quite funny.
So there's this great blog by Popehead, right?
Popehead.
Blogger, yeah. And I found this quote on Popehead's blog, and I looked to find the origin of it.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah, that's good.
It's a Marlboro, I think. Is that
This is a Marlboro.
Yeah, it's a Cuban Marlboro. I looked for the origin of this quote, and I found it from Seneca, who talks about the difference between the Etruscans and the Romans.
I knew you were going to bring up the Etruscans.
The Etruscans. Seneca, as a Roman, writes that the Etruscans believe that lightning happens because the gods want to convey meaning. And so the clouds come together in precipitation to shoot this lightning down. But we, the Romans, we know that the lightning only has meaning because natural forces cause the clouds to come together and lightning happens, and then we, the Romans, infer some kind of meaning from that. And the Etruscans are right.
Yes, I love it. Yeah.
The Roman scientists are wrong, and the Etruscan-based people are right.
I think your talk really helped. I've started saying something, I don't think I got this from you, but I think you'll agree with it. I find myself these days reading much more fiction than non-fiction, and I think it's because it's truer. It's more it depends the fiction you're reading, but I mean, if you read Lord of the Rings, that's much more true than, I don't know, scientific handbook.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, any of these pop science books,
factual.
I don't read any of them. I mean, I've had to read a few of them, and they're just ridiculous.
Well, there's a plethora these days of these books which are trying to inculcate meaning into society, just by the most basic, like
tyranny.
Do you remember a few years ago there was that book called The Secret?
Yeah.
It's the same thing as COVID. It's just nonsense. It's trying to find meaning in something which is totally meaningless.
No,
right?
it's a cult too.
Yeah.
The problem with The Secret, right, is they're trying to find meaning in like crystals. And
Well, they're trying to instill meaning that you yourself can actually deduce from the universe in something that
or control the universe.
Yeah. Well, you're trying to say to somebody, here is meaning, right? Here is the meaning that you should be finding, right? And actually, the meaning is all around you. The meaning is the natural law, right? And you're just not willing to see
There's
meaning.
the poet, Catholic poet Dana Gioia, who's poetry is essentially dead, but he's one of the good poets that's still around. He's Catholic. He said the Catholic view of the world is essentially semiotic. It's just rich in symbols. Everything is symbolic. There's no such thing as a mere coincidence for a Catholic. And so, these people, these New Age people, basically these wine moms who want to read The Secret because Oprah told them to, and they're going to say, well, now I'm going to find some meaning by tyranny of will or something. They're going about it totally in the wrong direction. And because the way that we often think about symbols is Giuseppe Mazzotta, the Dante scholar, had a good line on this, which is, we think that poetry is the act of love, the thing that we put out into the universe. That's the act of love, where we're working with the muses to put it out. But Giuseppe points out interpretation is also an act of love, and actually it's a higher act of love. And you see this especially...
Be it done unto me, here we go again, right?
Yes.
It's a receptivity to
Yes, well, look at Mary and Martha. Christ visits Mary and Martha. It's at Martha's house. He's sitting, talking. Mary is at his feet listening. Martha's serving the whole lunch. She's paying the bills. This is the only reason there's a house in the first place, at least, in the temporal world. And Christ says, Mary has the better part. Martha, you're upset because your sister's not helping, but your sister has the better part. Meaning the contemplative life is the better life, and the interpretation is better than the doing. You have to do both. You have to sustain your body, but if you look for meaning in interpretation of things that are objective and outside of you, you're going to be much more satisfied than trying to impose your own meaning on the world.
Thank you so much for watching that clip. If you want to watch the entire thing, go over to mattfradd.locals.com. Locals is like a non-woke Patreon. So if you want to support the work of Pints with Aquinas, you can do that over there, mattfradd.locals.com. And when you do, you get a ton of things in return. You get bonus podcasts, you get bonus episodes of things, you get monthly spiritual direction with Father Gregory Pine, you get monthly audiobooks, you get our print newspaper sent to your door quarterly, and we even pay for shipping. There's a ton of things you get. And you also get the satisfaction of knowing that you're supporting the work of Pints with Aquinas. mattfradd.locals.com. Thanks.
Pay Thursday's salary.
Pay Thursdays.